Our history is full of lost voices, people whose ideas and beliefs, fears and hopes are absent from official records. In the Voices of History series, contemporary writers from TNT combine research and imagination to bring these individuals to life in fiction and poems. The earliest known inhabitant of TNT, whose remains were found at the archaeological site at Banwari Trace in South Trinidad, dates back over 5,000 years. Traditionally known as Banwari Man, the individual is actually of unknown gender. Who was the person laid to rest at Banwari so many centuries ago? What would they say to us now about our relationship to our home islands? Writer Tracy Assing brings their lost voice to life. Part of the NGC Bocas Lit Fest's 2022 Season of Independence, celebrating Trinidad and Tobago's 60th anniversary as an independent nation.
Unearthed, on earth, invisible, indivisible, crouched here, weighed down by your tongue, soil soaked by my tears. These words are unfamiliar in my mouth, though I have tried to make you understand in every language. I am the root. She, he, I have never been suited to your classifications. Meaning. You have tried to measure my story with limited instruments. Zoology, anthropology, archaeology, geography, cartography, understanding evades you still. You made your discovery, uncovered me just west of the Kura River where my footsteps ended. Shell, stone, and bone, midden upturned by your industry, you did not see, you walked where I tread. When the world was young and endless, we knew nothing, content to witness all the wonder of the universe unfolding as we are learning. We! When the world was young, we flowed over the land like water, spoke the languages of birds, sought the kinship of rocks, and traveled through and to the stars with the ease of breathing. Every hunter traveled with seeds we could never take without giving. Soil is living. In, out, in, out, in, turning, turning, click, click, click. I've been talking to the roots. The shells took me to the sea, resonant cavity. I could linger there frequently. Water cover me. Waves of sound, sound of space, heavenly, mournful melody. Long before the inky finger of the Pitch Lake curse stretched across this land and crossed the sea, the waves told me, I witnessed your undoing. The needle point at my hip, my compass. Even without the stars, I found I could still travel. I was never lonely, only underground. Mycelium networks conspired to advance my transformation to myth. On the day I was born, the morning sun brought an end to 3 days of rain brought by the full moon. The bird chorus was loud and urgent as they shared stories of how they survived the deluge, advice on how nests could be repaired, and excitement at the drowned feast to be found on the forest floor. On the day I was born, my mother was walking in the forest alone, hunting herbs. She stooped low to the earth to ease her labor pains, while her eyes followed the flight of a red-headed woodpecker. She breathed deeply, inhaling the scent of mud, decaying leaves, and wild orchids. The woodpecker ran a steady, rhythmic tap, tap, tap against the tree trunk. The sound echoed through the forest, through opportunity. The sound of her breath filled her ears. She rocked slowly on her hunches, taking her mind to her mother's instructions over the last 9 months. 5 leaves. In the forest, she was surrounded by medicine and had to choose the right combination of leaves. These 5 leaves would keep me warm and keep her safe. She wrapped her arms across her stomach, hugging me in my nest. On the day I was born, my whole life was written in the stars. I could barely open my eyes, but those stars would illuminate my path. All the planets conspired to sing my song, guide my footsteps, lead the way, shine on. Leaves reflected the light of the waning moon. The forest was dense, but the path was clear. On the day I was born, my father planted a tree just for me, and every day after, that tribe has welcomed me too, nourishing my growth, sheltering my dreams. Leaves rustle when I whistle the wind. We are kin. Convergence. When 2 or more are gathered to form a whole. There was convergence on the day that I was born. Crowd behavior is a composite of those who join in. The word convergence comes from the prefix con, meaning together, alongside with the verb verge, which means to turn toward one accord, to live together. Convergence. The truth is, I was never alone, and neither are you. Knowing comes from knowing. So when I discovered my tongue, I put it to use and grew from these roots. I crossed so many mountains to come here. Stopped to take a deep breath at the crest of the first hill. Felt the blood pumping in my veins. My heart was beating so loud and clear I could feel its thunder all through my chest. My light footfalls in the forest left no mark but for the thin spider webs I crossed on the path, and even those were quickly respun in my wake. Long before the Black Death paved the way, drove production, made your function a cog in the wheel, I witnessed your undoing. This language of yours begins to feel familiar. I can see how you have wielded its power. I had to take my story out your mouth. I had to shape the words myself. Walk, hike, massacre, uprising, occupation, life, empire, death. Still, sometimes I prefer the language of birds. I miss this most of all as dirt filled my mouth. I was concerned that I would not remember the language, not like the way I lost my tongue. I cannot utter a word without the taste of blood in my mouth, numbed by steel, thrust through my head from the chin. Still, could not smother the fire within. I did burn here, so I fed the grass. You chose to sell everything that arose, supplanting trees and grasses for concrete and blacktop, building cities for cars. O prodigal, your spoils are finite. At Banwari, I slept under the care of Hindu gods, hummed bhajans and ragas, Sa-ri-ga-ma. I walked the fields with Lord Krishna, king of the cowherds, eye to eye, heart to heart. Grief lulled sweet labor as sweat and blood fed the sweet grassroots. Interred and indentured kin above and below. Life after life is all we know. My name is Tracy Assing, and I am from the island formerly known as Kairi, now known as Trinidad, part of Trinidad and Tobago. I am a writer. So this piece was informed by some work I had previously done on this topic. Actually, I worked on a video for the National Trust with my partner KCA about Banwari Trace and met Mr. Hari Prasad, who is the current caretaker of the site.